the Rebbe said on the first yard side of his father-in-law, the Rebbe Rayat. The Rebbe is explaining over here the first chapter from the 20 chapters of the Basi Legani Maimorim. Basi Legani, the Rebbe says like this: Basi Legani hachoisi kala. So it says in Shir Hashirim, I came to my garden. My sister, my kala. I came to the garden of my sister, my kala. So it says in the Medrash on this pasuk, on this verse, Legan and Ksivkan Elo Legani Lignuni. The pasuk doesn't say, I came to a garden. I came to a garden. Hashem is saying to the Jewish people, doesn't say I came to a garden, it says I came to my garden. Lignuni, to the place where I have fun to be there. The Mokim Shahaya Ikri Batchila, to the place. Why is it my garden? Because this is where I essentially was. This was my main place over here in the very beginning. This is the main place where I had pleasure, a garden, right? It causes a person pleasure to see all the trees and everything. So Hashem says this world is my. I'm coming back to my garden. This is a pasuk Nebuchadnezzar said. It says, referring to, and they built a Mishkan.
It's not referring to Gan Eden.
No, so Hashem saying this world, I'm coming back to my garden, to where I was in the beginning. The Iker Shechina, but Achtoinim Haisa. The main Shechina, the main God's presence in the beginning of creation was where? Where is the Shechina, God's dwelling? Where was it? Down here in the very beginning, right? But after that, through the sins of eight sadas, or the made from the tree of knowledge, etc., so they sent the Shekhinah out of this world. The Shekhinah left the world until 7 tzaddikim after that came, and they brought to this world. So the question is, what is a Ikar Shekhinah? It says the main level of God's is the level of Shekhinah. Shekhinah means where Hashem rests, his godly presence. Right? Hashem rests. So it says the main Ikar Shekhinah, the main level of Shekhinah, the main level of God's dwelling himself was where? Was down here. So what does that mean, Ikar Shekhinah? This is what this paragraph that I was going to be speaking about. Which level in the Kabbalistic chart is the level of the main level of Hashem's level of the Shekhinah? Where is that referring to?
Talking about the 12.
So right, there's the 10 spheres. Chachma bin Adas, there's all the 10. So which level from this level is Shekhinah? It's considered a level that God rests in the Mishkan. It says the Shekhinah rests in the Beis Hamikdash, rests in the Shul. So there's many levels of Shekhinah. There's many levels of Shekhinah, right? It says when someone learns Torah, the Shekhinah is with him. It says when you have 10 people, the Shekhinah is there. So what's the difference? Is it the same Shekhinah? Because when you have one person who learns Torah, or 10 people, it says in the Beis Hamikdash, the Shekhinah was resting. So there's many. So here it says that the main level of Shekhinah, Ikar Shekhinah, the essence, the essential, the real, the essence of the Shekhinah was in Tachtoinim, was in this world, before the sin of Eitzadas. What is the level? What is that referring to, Ikar Shekhinah? So the Rebbe says, so first of all, what does Shekhinah mean? Shekhinah means to rest. To rest, to dwell. So the guy lays down in his bed, he's laying, this is where he's resting. So that's what Shekhinah means. This comes from the word of the Pasuk. It says, you shall make from me a sanctuary, you shall make from me a mikdash, and I will dwell within it, inside the Beis Hamikdash. What does the pasuk say? V'shachanti, I will dwell. So that's where the word Shekhinah comes from. Where does Shekhinah come from? This word we say the Shekhinah, the resting. It comes from the pasuk that says, "It'll make for me a sanctuary, and I'll dwell within it." So the dwelling. So he says, "Shureshis his galus eidin seif." So the Alter Rebbe writes, which level is this? He says, this is the beginning of the revelation of the infinite light of Hashem. The beginning, the first level. That's to reveal God. There's God himself, and then there's the way God, so to speak, connects with the world, and he reveals himself with the world. That is the level of Shekhinah. So Shekhinah is a lower level. Shekhinah is a lower level that dwells, right? It's a lower level from this whole chart, the 10 attributes. The lower level is what dwells. That's where you're starting to reveal, where God's starting to reveal Himself to the world. V'hinei, Ramasha Kosh says, Galas Eden Seif Nikra B'Shem Shechina, from the Alter Rebbe writes that the first level of revelation of Hashem's light, that is the Shechina, the first, when God starts to reveal, you can have like a guy himself, he's keeping his mouth shut. Once the guy starts talking, he's starting to reveal something over here, right? He's starting to reveal, he's starting to interact with someone else. That is the level of Shekhinah, right? So the Rebbe says, because the Alter Rebbe says that the first level of God's revelation, that is Shekhinah. What does that mean? Moving mizeh, she'inin Shekhinah ula ma'ila ma'atzim from this starting to reveal. You see, in this kind of attributes, there's also many spiritual worlds, right? In generally, there's 4 spiritual worlds. If we'll start from bottom up, there's Asiya. We are in the world of Asiya, the world of action. Above it, there's a world of Yetzirah, a world of forming. Bria is even higher than that. That's the world of creation. And above that is Atzilus. Atzilus means also, Atzil means to give. But Atzilus also means Eitzel. It's next to Hashem. That's the highest from all the 4 worlds. So you have 4 spiritual worlds. Shekhinah is the B'Shem's revelation. That's even higher than the highest level of these 4 worlds. Because the beginning of God's revelation is way before all these 4 worlds. There's a whole bunch of levels. It's higher than the highest spiritual world. And it says even another interesting thing. It's known that the God had like a infinite light shining, and then God needed to make a contraction in order to create a world that will be able to exist. If God's light is just all over the place, there's no room for a little teeny finite person in a little world to stand. The world cannot exist in the presence of such a light, right? If you have, let's say, even the heat, if it's boiling hot, stand there, right? You're gonna put something in front too close to a fire. If you need to take it away, and now there's room to make a world to make. So it says that God had His infinite light shining before the world was created. God needed to push His light on the side. So, but before God put His light, His infinite light on the side, there was God Himself shining. There was this light that was before this contraction of the light. Shekhinah is even higher than this light that was shining before the contraction. Because if you're saying that Shekhinah is the first revelation of Hashem, it's even higher than this light that was shining before the contraction. She says, why should because the first revelation of Hashem is even before this light that was shining before the contraction. Now, so that's one thing. So the Alter Rebbe says that what's Shekhinah, what's the dwelling, what's the level of God that was shining in the world, even the light that's higher than contraction. Now the Mittler Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe says, what is Shekhinah? Now after this, you had this light and you put the light on the side. What did you do? What did they do after that? They set up a whole bunch of curtains, so to speak, metaphorically, and they made a little teeny hole, and the light shines through that little hole. So what do you have? Now you just have like a beam of light. And that's what the Kabbalah says. And that beam of, now there is room to make a world that can handle, and now it has this little stream of light that's coming from Hashem, but that's still connected to the big massive light. The Mittler Rebbe says that this little light, that is the Shekhinah. So what is the Shekhinah? This light that's shining through the curtain? Or this little beam of light, this line of light? Or what the Alter Rebbe says that it's in higher than the light that's before the curtain. What's the Shekhinah? So the Rebbe explains, there's 4 ideas of Shekhinah, like we said before, right? It says if one guy's sitting and learning, the Shekhinah is with him. It says if you have 10 guys, then the Shekhinah comes, but not before 10. It says the Beis HaMikdash shined in the Beis HaMikdash. And it says also the Shekhinah didn't shine in the second. It wasn't shining in the second Beis HaMikdash, only the first Beis HaMikdash. What's that meant to mean? It's the other place it says the Shekhinah was in the second Beis HaMikdash. The answer is the level of the Shekhinah that was in the first Beis HaMikdash was not in the second Beis HaMikdash. It was a higher level of Shekhinah in the first than in the second. But obviously the second did have, compared to the time of exile. What do we say? The Shekhinah went up to Shamayim, but we say we have a Shekhinah with us. When you have 10 Jews, the Shekhinah is with them. So there's different levels of Shekhinah. So the Rebbe is saying your Shekhinah, this is what the Mikla Rebbe says, that Shekhinah is this line, that's a different level of Shekhinah. The idea of Shekhinah is in every place accordingly. Each area, so to speak, in the spiritual, in the 10 spiritual attributes, there's this level compared to that level of Shekhinah. That level, what's higher? This, number 1 or number 2? Or number 3, number 4, So, number 8 is also higher than number 9. Number 9 is higher than number 10, and number 3 is higher than number 4, and number 1 is higher than number 2, right? Each thing is higher than the other one. So this is what we're saying over here. The idea of God's dwelling place accordingly. He says, like Atzilus, so in this highest world from the 4 worlds, it's the world of Atzilus, like we said, it's next to Hashem. What's the Shekhinah in that world? The lowest level of that world, there's 10 levels, number 10 all the way on the bottom, that is Shekhinah in comparison to that world. When you're speaking about that world, when you're speaking about the world of Atzilus, the highest world from the 4 worlds, when you're speaking about the highest world of the 4 worlds, and you're saying Shekhinah, then what are you referring to? The lowest level of the 4 of the 10 attributes, which is the level of Malchus. That's the last level, Malchus. Okay, you want me to stop on if you would just let me know, you want to go?
Is that the first?
No, we're not done the first thing, but I just don't want to keep you here too much or whatever. Let me see. Let me know if you want to.
Where
Okay, we'll do a few more lines. We'll do till let's say the next dot over here. Right over here, a few more lines, 5, 6 lines. But Gamma Zeh Mashe Malchus Atzilus Nikra B'Shem Shechinen Mevarak V'Dish Sad Mer Tzanach Tzedek Shezudav Kikvei Nasas B'Chenas Atik Le'Elam Abriya. Al B'Yosef Atzilus Michades Imo Mimasveres Atzilus V'Leishayich Lashon Shechina. So the Tzemach Tzedek explains even this, that level number 10. So right, we said you have 4 worlds. The highest world from the 4 worlds is Atzilus. How do you say, what are you going to eat today? I'm going to eat by that guy. And Yochel Etzel, Micha. Etzel means by. So the highest world from the 4 worlds is called Atzilus. Lashon Etzel, from the tomb of Etzel, by. It's next to Hashem. It's the closest to Hashem from the 4 worlds. So the lowest level from the 10 attributes in this highest world is Shekhinah. Malchus, right? The Tzemach Tzedek explains this, that this level is Shekhinah is only for the when for the world, the 10th level, where there's 10 attributes. Level number 10 goes down and that becomes level number 1 for the next world. For world number 2. And so to level number 10 of world number 2 becomes level number 1 for world number 3. Level number 10 of world number 3 becomes number 1 for world number 4. Understand? The lowest level from the higher level, that's like the roof. Right, you have 10 floors. So the floor of floor number 20 is the roof for floor number, right? So the lowest level from each level is the crown. We said that there is the highest level from all the 10 levels, or the 11th level is the crown. Kesed, crown. The crown of each world is the lowest level, is the Malchus from the world before. So that the lowest level of Atzilus is the lowest level from the first world is Shechina, is only when the lowest level is a crown. It goes down to be a crown over the world under it. Then you can consider that level Shechina. You could call that level that it's Shechina. It's a level that rests and dwells. What does Shechina mean? You're going down, you're dwelling, you're resting. God is resting within the world. When this level number 10 is not a crown for the world under it, it's mainly united with its own world. It's united with the world of Atzilus, then it's not Shechina. Because it's part of them. It's all part of the family. It's part of the Atzilus family, so to speak. Only when this level goes down to be only when this level goes down to be, so to speak, separate. It separates itself from the Atzilus family. Now it's on its own. It's going down to the world below. Then it's Shechina, right? So the lowest level from Atzilus is Shechina only when it separates from the world of Atzilus and it becomes the crown for the world under it, the world of Bria, the world of creation. We call Malka means it says in Mashakos of Lil Shakavnik and B'Shem Shechina, the Shechina, she never would do Shazal, Hainu, Malchus, Atzilus. Fa'av comes Rash, Shechina's article of Bria Dafka. Aval B'Shor Shine, K'may Shul Gabeir and Seif, and Nigam Akav, Niklam Shem Shechina. So that was saying here that, yeah, so the lower, what are we saying over here? That the lowest level from the world, from the first world is Shechina, only when it becomes a crown to the next world. We said that the level of the beam, which is way before, right, it's even higher than the highest world, that is Shechina. So what's Shechina? So the Rebbe says it's not a contradiction. The idea of Shechina is in every single place. There's many levels of Shechina. That's what the Rebbe is saying over here. So whenever we see it says in Chazal, in the Gemara, whatever it says in generally, the Shechina was here, the Shechina was there, the Shechina, that's referring to which level? This is referring to the level, the lowest level from the 10 levels in the first world. Lowest level of the world of Atzilus. That is Shechina. Whenever you're learning in Torah generally, that's the level it's referring to. And when is that the crown? Only when that becomes. When is that Shechina? Only when that becomes the crown for the world below, when it separates, right? But when we're talking about a much higher level of Shechina, when you talk about the infinite light of Hashem, what's Shechina? The little stream of light. So basically, what is Shechina? What are we saying over here? Shechina is the lower level from each place. What's Shechina? The lowest level of that gets separate from that place or idea to be connected with a lower level. That is Shechina. So if you're going to look at the spiritual chart, let's say, and you're going to see that world, or this world, or any world you want, or any level, wherever you're going to go, the lowest level of that world, the lowest level, when they get separate from its level and it goes down, that's Shechina. So when we're talking about, let's say, the infinite light of Hashem, this big, massive light, what's the Shechina in comparison? What's the Shechina in this place? So after you put a curtain, and you make a little hole, and you shine the stream out, this little beam of light, like we said, that's Shechina in comparison to the big massive light. Why? Because that is the lowest level from that big light that's going to give to someone else. Yeah? Understand? When you have this infinite light, when you have this big massive light, we can't handle it, so you put a curtain. A lot of curtains. Now you block the light. Now you make a little teeny hole and a little stream of light. So that is Shechina. That stream of light is Shechina compared to the big massive light, because this is the level of light that's coming to give over. This is just like on a much the first world of the four spiritual worlds. That's much lower even than the stream of light. The stream of light is still connected to this infinite light of Hashem. After this stream of light, you need to put another curtain. Even more condensed light contracted light to make worlds. So in each world, the lowest level of each world, the way it separates from its world to give over to something else, that is the level of Shekhinah. So when you have this infinite light of Hashem, what's Shekhinah for it? The little stream that's coming out. Why? Because the whole purpose of this stream is to give to the worlds, to give to someone else. When you have the first world from the spiritual worlds, what's Shekhinah? The lowest level from the 10 that's going to give over to someone else. Understand? And so too in each world from the spiritual worlds, can you go lower and lower? What is the Shekhinah from each spiritual world? The lowest level, the way it's separate from it to give over to the world under it, that is, let's see in the world of Bria, the second world from the four worlds. You have Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, Asiyah. Shino Ilma Bria. What is Shekhinah in this world? The level of Atzilus, the lowest level of Atzilus, the way it separates, and it comes to give into it, that is the Shekhinah. What's Shekhinah for this world? Yetzirah. The lowest level of Bria, the lowest level from the next world, when it gets separated to give to this world, that is Shekhinah. What's the Shekhinah from this world? The lowest level from the world above it, that gets separated to give over. Understand? Okay, so Be'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we will continue the Maimer and Mashiach now. Have a great Chodesh. Thank you for participating.